guys. I'm gonna do my, I always say that, don't I? I'm gonna do this today. I'm doing my update on my Pan That palette today, and I've been using this for about a month now. This palette doesn't really have a name for it. It's one of those, I talked about this a little bit more in my intro video, so if you want to know more, go and look at that one and see where I started. But this one, it's one of those, like, buy such and such and get free stuff kind of deals. So I didn't actually spend any money on this palette. It came with, like, a brush set or something like that. I don't remember. I've had it for a few years. But it's one of their 100 pan palettes, so it's got 100 eyeshadows in it. And I just had it laying around. It's huge. It takes up space, so I just decided, you know what? I'm just going to use it. So let me show you my progress on it today. So this is where I'm at right now. It looks almost exactly the same. I've been using this every day for about 4 weeks now. And I thought that this would go by, I'm going to flip it over so you can see how big it is. I thought this would go by a lot faster than it is. Let's see. This one right here is showing the most progress. So I don't know if you can see. There is a dip in it, and I'm starting to be able to see the pans on this have these little squares on the inside of it, and I'm starting to see the squares there. I haven't hit pan yet. I thought that I might, because these pans are very small, they're very shallow, and I thought that I would be able to hit pan on at least a shade like this, because I use this to set my under eye and do a brow bone highlight, and I haven't been able to hit pan yet. The other ones I've been using kind of inconsistently. Like, I do use this every day, but look at how many there are in here. You know, I've got purples, blues, greens, mostly neutral stuff, but then some dark ones here. So I'm gonna just, so since I don't want to do the exact same eye look every day, because I know that I'm gonna get bored with that if I do, I've been rotating a lot what I've been using. So I'll do like a neutral color, but I'll put like a dark blue in the outer corner. That's what I usually end up doing with color anyway. Or purples. I really like making purple looks, because purple is one of my favorite eyeshadow colors. But so far, not a lot of progress. This one was broken when I moved. This one down here was also broken, so that pan showing and that corner gone there is not from me. There's a couple of shadows that I wanted to point out. So I want to show, do you see how this one here has an X carved into it? And so does that one, and so does that light purple one over there. So the reason for that is that these colors there, it's supposed to be a deep dark purple. And that's kind of what it does. So that's a blue one there. And these are actually swatching better than the last one, that when I swatched them and made a decision about them. But as you can see, just by me trying to enhance the swatches, they kind of blend away to nothing. So those are supposed to be good definer colors that make your eye look deeper or more smoky or whatever, and they just don't. So I put a big X in them because I'm not gonna, there's too many shadows in here for me to sit there and get irritated with a shadow that's not gonna do what I want it to do. So I was watching, there was someone else, and I'll link her down below, because she did a larger version of this palette last year, and I cannot remember her name at the moment, but she did this thing where whenever she hit pan on it and got that square in the center of the palette to show completely, she crumbled up the eyeshadow and marked it as done. I don't necessarily want to do that, because this is my first Pan That palette, so I really want to see the progress that I make on my own, because I know I'm not going to remember which ones I crumbled up and which ones I didn't. So I'm just putting X's in them to remind myself that the quality on those is not worth, using, and then by the end of the year I can see what I actually myself used up, and not just the empty palette. Not that there's anything wrong with doing that, because it clears out the palette faster and saves a lot of stress and headaches and what have you, but that's just something personal for me that I want to do to see how much progress I personally can make. So things that I'm learning about this is I didn't think that I would get too bored with this palette because it is so diverse in all of its colors, and I wouldn't necessarily say that I'm bored with it, but I'm a little irritated with it because the shadows kind of, with a few exceptions, the shadows all kind of blend in together. It's really hard to get a darker, so let me show you. So this is a look. So this is what I did with my palette today, and I've got a neutral, I don't remember which ones I used, but I've got a neutral on the center, and then I did a deep green on the outer one here, and then over it is just one of the shades from Coffee Break with Danny's ColourPop collaboration thing. So that's where that sparkle is coming from, but it's so, you can't even see that it's there. So far all of the deeper colors kind of blend away into nothing. They all blend into each other to the point where they're just, it's all one color, it all looks really muddy. Even with my Urban Decay primer potion that I'm panning right now in my Project Pan, I mean, that helps, but unless I'm using a deep black in my crease, it doesn't make much difference. So I think that that's my biggest issue, is that these shadows, I remember them being pretty decent quality when I first got it, but this was also one of the first large eyeshadow pans that I've ever had, eyeshadow palettes that I've ever had, and I was relatively inexperienced at that time with makeup in general and with eyeshadows and what makes a good eyeshadow and what doesn't. So I remember liking this when I got it. I didn't use it that much, but I did like it. But now that I know better, I'm not liking it quite as much as I thought that I would. But I'm playing it with it down here, so that's where that noise came from. But I am going to keep using it. I committed to this. I'm going to do it. I'm going to keep going. I've been trying to figure out some versatility in these. I want to look at, like, using maybe this as a highlight shade, or this one. This one here is actually a pretty decent black. If I'm going to make a deeper eye look, I tend to grab that black in the corner there. And that one actually does have a bit. It's still not like, Urban Decay quality, but, I can work with that. I can use that I can use that pretty easily to make it do what I want it to do. So I've been using that in the corner, the outer corner, when I'm not doing a colored look, or if when I'm looking for like pops of color, and if I'm not at work, because I try to do really neutral stuff while I'm at work. But I've also been trying to use that one like as an eyeliner setter. So I'll like run it over the top of my gel liner, for example, to make sure it lasts all day. So it's been using that. It's been helping with that. So that's been helping to use it up a bit. And just recently, like within the last couple of days, I don't know how long I'm going to keep doing this, but this one here, this kind of auburn reddish brown color, I have been using, my bangs need to be done. I have been using over my eyebrows. So I'm using the Anastasia Brow Wiz, but it's in a dark brown color, so it's a little too dark for me. So I've been trying to take that, which has the reddish tint to it, and like running it over my eyebrows to kind of make them, they're very faded because I did them like, 6 or 7 hours ago, but makes them match my hair color a little bit better. So I don't know if I'm going to keep doing that, but that's what I've been doing lately. So far, not a whole lot of progress. I thought I would have at least one pan showing by now in that cream colored one, but I know I'm pretty close to that. So a couple other ones are showing evidence of use, not necessarily like significant dips in them, but evidence of use. So that's a good thing there. So I don't know if I'll be able to finish this by the end of the year. If there's whatever's left, I'll probably toss. Just because, like I said, it was a free palette. It's not super great quality. I've got a lot of other eyeshadow palettes that I'm like looking at them on my desk, and I'm like, I wish I could use you today. I wish. But I'm gonna push through it. I'm gonna use it and then just move it out, whether I finish it completely, which doesn't seem likely at this point in time, or if I use it as much as I can and then throw it away, because once I've used it for an entire year, it's not gonna be pretty anymore, and I don't think anyone else is gonna want it. But yeah, so that is where I'm at right now. If you want to stick around and see more, you can press the subscribe button. My other videos are things like project pans, or I've got a declutter series going on right now. So, and anything else you want to see, let me know. Otherwise, stick around if you want to, or not. I don't care. Whatever. Okay, bye.